It happened in the middle of a crowded hallway. A white boy's hand locked tight around a black girl's throat, pressing her against the lockers while dozens of students froze in place. Some gasped, some lifted their phones to record, but no one moved to stop it. That was the scene that would define Ariana Coleman's first week at Ridgewood High, the moment cruelty went unchecked. But what the bully didn't know was that the father of the girl he was choking was only steps away, and his arrival would turn humiliation into a lesson carved in front of the whole school. But that morning hadn't started with violence. It began with Ariana rushing to class. The bell rang and the halls of Ridgewood High exploded with sound. Lockers slammed like gunshots, sneakers squeaked on the linoleum, and voices bounced off the walls as students swarmed between classes. Among the crowd moved Ariana Coleman, 16 years old, her first week in this school. She walked with her backpack heavy on her shoulders, her hands full with binders, trying to stay focused, trying not to stand out. It was already hard enough being the new girl, and harder still being a black student in a place where whispers followed her every step. She stopped at her locker, carefully tucking her books inside, reminding herself to breathe. Just 1 week down, Ariana, she thought, you can get through this. But what she didn't know was that someone had already marked her. Chadwick, Chad Miller. Tall, broad, a senior, older than most from being held back. His father was a councilman in the city, and he wielded that name like a weapon. Teachers looked the other way when he strutted through the halls. He was used to control, to fear, to making examples out of anyone who didn't fit his narrow view of who belonged. And to him, Ariana was an easy target. Check her out, one of Chad's friends snickered, nudging him, walking around like she owns the place. Chad's lip curled into a sneer. She thinks she's better than us? Let's see how good she feels when she can't breathe. The laughter of his friends trailed behind him as he crossed the hall. Heavy boots thudded against the floor. Ariana didn't notice at first. She was too busy shuffling through her chemistry notes, trying to stay ahead. Then, bang! Her locker slammed shut inches from her hand. She jerked back, startled, her eyes darting up. Chad loomed over her, a grin stretched wide across his pale face. "What's up, princess?" he sneered. "Too busy to say hi to the real king of this school?" Ariana straightened her shoulders, though her stomach twisted. "Move, Chad. I don't have time for your games." "Oh, this isn't a game." His hand shot forward, slamming against the locker beside her head. Students nearby froze, some whispered, some fumbled with their phones. Nobody stepped in. "You don't belong here," Chad hissed. "Not unless I say so." Ariana stepped back, but there was nowhere to go. Chad's grin stretched wider, cruelty flashing in his eyes, and then, without warning, his hand shot forward. Not against the locker, not brushing past, straight for her throat. His pale fingers clamped down, cutting off her air in an instant. The metallic slam of the lockers seemed to echo louder as Ariana's back crashed against them. Her eyes widened, her mouth opening to scream. Nothing came out, just a strangled rasp. Gasps exploded through the hallway. "He's choking her!" someone cried, their voice sharp with panic. Have you ever witnessed a moment so cruel that the whole room seemed to stop breathing too? What would you do if it was your child pinned and choked against those lockers? Before we go further, what city or country are you watching from right now? Drop it in the comments. We love seeing where our viewers are tuning in from. And if you believe in standing up to bullies and racists, no matter where they show up, smash that like button and subscribe to Story Arc, because respect is always stronger than fear. Ariana's hands clawed at his arm, her nails digging, desperate, but Chad only sneered, his knuckles whitening as he pressed harder. Her binders tumbled from her hands, scattering papers across the floor like fallen feathers. The hallway, once roaring with noise, turned sickeningly still, except for the ugly sound of her shoes scuffing against the tiles as her legs kicked, searching for ground. Her face flushed deep red, then pale, her vision blurred at the edges, her body trembling as each breath slipped further away. Chad leaned closer, his breath hot in her ear. "Not so tough now, huh? Say it. Say you're nothing." Students stood frozen. Some lifted their phones with trembling hands, recording. Others turned away, guilt in their eyes, too afraid to interfere. But no one moved, and Ariana's knees buckled. Her body sagged against the lockers, her strength draining fast. That was the moment when, down the hall, the sound of Steady boots began to echo. The crowd parted instinctively. Heads turned. Whispers spread before anyone even saw his face. It was a black man in a pressed black suit, tall, broad-shouldered, his presence filling the space like a storm rolling in. He wasn't supposed to be here. Not in this moment, not in this chaos. But here he was, stepping into the circle of students, holding something small in his hand, a forgotten notebook. That morning, Ariana hadn't heard him calling when she rushed inside, so her father, Caleb Coleman, had followed, deciding to bring it to her himself. He had no idea he'd be walking into this. His eyes narrowed, his jaw set like stone as he took in the sight of his daughter pinned to the lockers, gasping under the hand of a sneering white boy. The hallway stilled, and then his voice rolled low, steady, but powerful enough to cut through every whisper. "Take your hands off my daughter." Chad froze for half a second at the sound of that voice. His grip loosened just slightly, enough for Ariana to drag in a ragged breath. Then he turned his head, eyes narrowing at the tall black man standing a few feet away. The laughter came quick, sharp, arrogant, meant to cover his flicker of fear. "Oh, look at this. What are you supposed to be? The janitor." "Yeah, figures, because I know that's the only job you can have." He sneered, his grip tightening on Ariana's throat. "Better stick to sweeping, old man, before you get hurt. This is between me and her." The hallway buzzed with gasps, phones angled higher, recording. Caleb Coleman didn't flinch. His voice came calm, steady, every word heavy as steel. "You've got 5 seconds to let go of my daughter. If you don't, I'll take your hands off her myself." Ariana's eyes widened. Relief shimmered through her panic, even as Chad barked another laugh. "Your daughter? Oh, this is too perfect." He yanked Ariana tighter against the locker, his face inches from hers. "What's she gonna do? Call Daddy to save her every time someone puts her in her place?" Caleb took a step forward. The students backed away instinctively, widening the circle. "This isn't a debate, son. This is your last warning." Chad's smirk faltered for a breath, but pride and the weight of the crowd shoved it back into place. He shoved Ariana against the lockers, hard enough to make her gasp before finally letting her stumble free. Then he squared up, rolling his shoulders, fists raised. "You don't scare me," he spat. "I'll drop you right here, in front of everybody. Then they'll see who's really in charge." Caleb tilted his head slightly, his expression unreadable. "Then you've already lost." The words hit harder than fists. The crowd hushed, phones locked on, the tension vibrating through the hall. Chad roared, pride snapping into rage. He lunged forward, swinging wild. Caleb's hand rose with effortless precision. Snap! He caught Chad's fist midair. Gasps ripped through the crowd. Before the boy could pull back, Caleb twisted sharply. Chad howled as his wrist bent the wrong way. His knees buckled, but Caleb didn't let go. He pivoted, his other arm driving an elbow into Chad's chest. The blow echoed like a drumbeat through the lockers. Chad crumpled, coughing, staggering to his knees. Caleb didn't raise his voice. He didn't gloat. He just stood over him, tall and steady, like a shadow that couldn't be shaken. "You thought choking a girl made you powerful," he said, low and clear enough for every phone mic to catch. "Now let me show you what real strength is." The hallway roared with whispers, some cheering, some stunned silent. Ariana, pressed back against the lockers, clutched her chest, her breath finally steadying, and Chad, red-faced, humiliated, gasping for air, tried to rise again. But Caleb was already there, waiting. Chad staggered to his feet, clutching his chest, face flushed with rage. Blood dripped from the corner of his lip, but his pride burned hotter than pain. "You think that was something?" he spat, his voice cracking under the weight of humiliation. "You got lucky. I'm not done." His friends shifted uneasily at the edge of the crowd. Some lowered their phones. Others whispered, "He should just stop. He's making it worse." But Chad, blind with arrogance, charged again. This time his fist cut wide through the air, aiming for Caleb's jaw. Caleb moved like water, slipping past the punch with calm precision. His hand shot forward, gripping the back of Chad's neck. In one fluid motion, he slammed the boy into the lockers with a thunderous clang. The sound ricocheted down the hallway. Students gasped, some even cheering. Caleb leaned close, his voice sharp enough to cut the silence. "Look at you. All that noise, all that hate, and nothing but weakness underneath it." Chad squirmed, gasping, pinned like a rag doll. "Get off me." Caleb's fist slammed into the locker just beside Chad's head. denting the metal with a sickening crunch. Chad flinched, paling, the arrogance draining from his face in an instant. Apologize, Caleb growled. Chad's eyes darted to the phones, to the students watching, to Ariana standing free now, trembling but alive. His lips quivered. I'm sorry. Louder. I'm sorry. Chad's voice cracked, his humiliation pouring into the air. I shouldn't have touched you. I was wrong. Caleb released him, letting Chad collapse onto the floor in a heap. The boy's hands shook as he struggled to crawl back, his pride shattered. Caleb turned, his broad shoulders shielding Ariana from the chaos of phones and eyes. He rested a protective arm across her shoulders, steady, unshaken. But before walking her out, he paused, turning back to the crowd and to the broken bully still crumpled against the lockers. You think I'm a janitor? Caleb's voice carried low but firm, every syllable clear. He reached into his jacket and pulled something out. A badge. The hallway went silent. My name is Caleb Coleman. I'm the chief of police for this precinct. The revelation cracked through the air like thunder. Gasps rippled down the hall. Chad's face drained of all color. His father's influence meant nothing now. Caleb stepped closer, his gaze pinning the boy like a blade. Let this be a lesson. Fear doesn't make you strong. Respect does. Learn it, or crawl through the rest of your life. Then Caleb guided Ariana down the hall, phones still recording. Chadwick Miller sat on the floor, broken, humiliated, his reputation destroyed in a single morning. If you believe every racist bully deserves to be exposed and humbled, then like this video and subscribe to Story Arc because justice doesn't whisper in the dark, it roars where everyone can see.